Greetings and welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is November 13th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm great. I could just hear that from downstairs. I heard the loud Brendan. We are together, but not recording in person, so to speak. We're all together at our Austin team Friday golf team offsite meeting, planning big things for 2025. How can we get PJ out on the road for more Champions Tour events? It's great. It's great. So we're together, but not recording in person. Great offsite going on.
This was going to make it easier on PJ's life if we did this way.
The rental house where we're doing all these meetings is stocked with 17 and a half gallons of iced tea for PJ, big bag of Twizzlers.
We just got a 12 rack of Cokes for him.
The boy is in hell. For the first night, we took him to some Mediterranean thing. He's just getting his feet wet, seeing the world. Young kid, and they were just throwing everything at him with these hummus mixtures. He just didn't know,
cucumber salad,
shawarma. Yeah. He
made me eat lamb. It was I don't know if I'm ever going to
eat it. I said I think you'd like it.
You strongly suggested it.
Yeah.
Didn't want to eat the falafel. You tried the falafel. You said it tasted like nothing.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm out on falafel.
Between like a little bit of Tex-Mex dabbling as one does down in Austin, the Mediterranean restaurant the first night. PJ's going far afield, but he's got his Twizzlers. We got our iced tea. Our team meeting's off and running. You're a big Austinite, Andy. You feel like you've become a sort of a big convert.
I've spent a lot of time in this city, so
Let me ask you a question. I went for a walk down by the river they got here, whatever it's called.
I know exactly the sign you're talking about.
Wander. It's not a sign. Not a sign. What's with the weighted vest thing we got going on nowadays? All these guys look like they're, these just guys. They're just guys, and they're in these weighted vests running along the river. Everybody's in a weighted vest. I mean, they're acting like they're Derrick Henry before training camp, running with their weighted vest on before they go make sales of software. Is this like a thing? Like, is this what former athletes do? I feel like they're just going for a walk and a jog. What is with the weighted vest phenomenon?
Did you see the Cooper Cup clip that went viral last week with him talking about when he got cut from high school and how he started walking around with weighted ankle weights around, and kids would make fun of him, and then he became really great at it. And he kept doing it. He kept putting the work in, and every level he became better. You know what? These people are just trying to be better.
They're middle-aged men.
So maybe you should try. Maybe you should try a weighted vest.
Feels like a complete. Every other guy was in a weighted vest running. Like I was like,
I might try it now.
Trying to be Bruce Jenner, getting ready for the decathlon. They're just, come on. I don't understand this fad, but it's hot. Everybody look very healthy. A lot of healthy looking people.
You get down on Lady Bird Lake in the morning. It is just runner central. I gotta give a shout out. I thought he was kind of crazy complaining about this. Henry Shimp, the Thai podcast.
Yeah,
he went on a rant about run clubs. He lives in Austin. And I've run here for a number of times this year. Never really noticed them. These run clubs are out of control. They're completely out of control. They have they'll be 30 people deep, 50 people deep. I saw one assembling yesterday. I was like, thank God that I'm already out ahead of them.
Is it a
there was like 500
issue,
people, 500 people assembling to run together. Like it was like populating the entire city block. And they run on this little trail, and there's like an army of them. And you can't get around them. If they're coming at you, they take up the whole space. Like you got to squeeze over. They're a disaster. I don't understand. I know a lot of people run with people. I don't understand it. I don't like talking when I run.
No, who wants to have a conversation as they're huffing and puffing? That doesn't seem like a pleasant deal. What's the
a lot of my neighbors
sort of
are
elevator
like,
pitch
let's go for a
this?
run someday. And I'm like, or we could just have a conversation out here. And we can
Is it
go
the
on our
idea
own
that you
runs.
push each other to like keep pace? Is what's the hook for running with 500 people?
I think the idea is the accountability buddy.
Okay. Well, just put a weighted vest on and save yourself the personal.
I think the weighted vest people are less of a problem than the run club people.
I'm not saying they're a problem. It feels like a little over aggressive. Let's be honest, everybody's washed at this point. Nobody's getting ready for training camp or the Olympics. Just feels like a little extra. But it was very prevalent.
Maybe they're running a marathon. Maybe they're, trying to be triathletes. Maybe they're trying to get better.
All right. It's not a critique.
Maybe
I was just, it felt
Cooper
extra
Cup.
aggressive. It's very much a fad going around Austin, the weighted vest thing, and elsewhere, I'm sure.
I hope it becomes a fad around pro golfers, like a pro golfer, like
practice round in a weighted vest.
Play us into this. I just have parlayed us into this. Let's talk about Nico Echavarria Minute. I know everybody was mad that we didn't get this a couple weeks ago, but I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Too much football talk?
Well, too much football talk, and we don't want to. Nico Echavarria, maybe he's running around with a weighted vest because something has changed with Nico Echavarria. Nico Echavarria in his career as a PGA Tour player, he had one top 10 finish before this fall. In the last 4 events, he has 3. What is going on with Nico Echavarria? Are the floodgates open, Brendan?
The lid is off. The floodgates are open. It's Echavarria time on the PGA Tour. He's just hot. He's hot at the right time. He's going to be at Pebble. He's going to be at Riviera. Nico Echavarria,
61st in FedEx Cup fall.
So he's good. He's locked in with 2 more events to go, the Butterfield and the RSM.
I mean, you look at this guy. He didn't do much of anything all year. And then the fall comes around, and he's gunning for actually not 3. He had a top 11, not 3 top 10. So it was Black Desert was T11. So that almost counts. But
almost.
Really, like he only had 1 top 10 in his tour career outside of he had another one at a team event, which I don't count.
Just Wi-Fi is choppy. We're in the same
choppy?
house.
It's like fiber.
You didn't want to record in person, and now we're dealing with choppy Wi-Fi. It's choppy.
Are you ready for his strokes gainer ranks? You ready for his strokes gainer ranks?
I mean, no, I'm not. I'm totally ambivalent, but throw them out there.
This is Nico Echavarria minute.
People demanded this. They didn't want to hear about Jaden Daniels' Hail Mary. They wanted more Echavarria.
Up the tee, 114th. Approach the green, 103. Around the green, 119.
This is for the season.
Putting,
signature
98.
player.
98. His best
signature events.
His best statistical category is putting into the 98th best player on tour, 0.004. But the last 4 weeks tell us he might have found something.
Well, this gets to your point of like, you want the best players, like, who are playing at that time to be in the field. The only problem is these signature events are going to be in like 4 months from now in February that he's played his way into. With this hot run in November and October, he will be, popping up at Pebble Beach, which I think that's February. Genesis, I know, is mid to late February. So who knows? Maybe he's back to being 119th off the tee and 98th and putting and all these things you just threw at me. But in theory, it makes sense to have these Aon top 10s, but and reward the fall play. But he's a signature event player, despite those numbers.
What's amazing is that he kept his card. He was one of the most improved players on tour. Those numbers that I just rattled off, those were almost a full shot improvement from last year.
Okay.
So he's one of the most improved players on tour. But my question is, how did he keep his card in the first place?
It's fair. It's a fair question. Nevertheless, he did keep his card. He is in the field at the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, and that will lead off our schedule for the week. Before we get to more bits and bobs, PJ's new attire.
You don't want to do any more big Nico questions?
Unless you have them, I don't.
I was going to ask, is he a President's Cup, potential President's Cup star? Could he be replacing Pendy?
We'll see in 2 years from now at Medina. Almost 2 years from now, they do need more South American presence and flavor on that roster after going decidedly, North American and Australian this week, this year. So, Butterfield's Echavarria is in the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. It is at Port Royal Golf Course in Southampton, Bermuda. Purse is $6.9 million, which is uniquely puny for the PGA Tour these years. Sub $7 million purse. Notables in the field. Defending champ is Camilo Villegas, one of the great sort of wins stories of the year last year. It was a week after Eric Van Rooyen. Really an interesting stretch of heartwarming stories on the tour last year. Defending champ is Camilo. Notables in the field are Daniel Berger, Jolie D, who I believe you said is now jumped into 121 safely on the 125 side of one. With 2 events to go, got that no cut limited field points in Tokyo or in Japan. Yeah, he's 121. Echavarria is a notable
like
now.
These free points because of mathematician Mav McNealy could be the end of free points.
We have to get to that. You have to give me the whole background. I have the high level details on that. Echavarria,
Lanto's
notable.
Very, very impressed with Mav McNealy.
Lucas Glover, Mackenzie Hughes, Frankie Molinari is a notable now, and he's playing Butterfield. There was a time in 2018 when he was maybe the best player in the world, like unstoppable. He is 207th in the FedEx Cup. I looked this up because I was wondering why he was playing Butterfield. We haven't heard much from Frank, and he's in the Butterfield. He's 207th in the FedEx Cup. Kevin Streelman, notable. Nick Taylor is a notable, and Villegas is a notable. This is Thursday through Sunday, 1 to 4. Thursday and Friday, 1 to 4, with a 2 p.m. Sunday finish on Golf Channel. So a little earlier on Saturday and Sunday. Maybe get out of the way of the witching hour. Yeah, I know everybody then will be able to comfortably switch over to Red Zone from the Butterfield.
Are they an hour ahead? Is Bermuda an hour ahead of Eastern time?
That is a good question, but one you're asking to the wrong person. Because that could be, I would guess maybe yes. Weather looks brutal again. This is where people can just get blown out to sea. Justin Lauer was talking about it in Mexico. It's like, boy, I am not looking forward to that weather. Course is very blah. There were some interesting quotes like front 9, there's literally nothing. Then you get the stretch 13 to 16, which is a little adventurous there on the water. You can get blown around. Weather looks bad again, both precipitation and high winds, as is often the case in late fall, mid-fall in Bermuda, the middle of the ocean. So that could make it interesting. That could make it a little fun. We're looking, in the past, there was like 50 miles an hour wind. Matt Fitzpatrick called it the hardest wind he's ever played in. And yeah, it looks like it's coming again for this year. This is a big cutoff.
We'll see how Nico,
every player from number 118
handles that.
Every player from 118th to 135 is in the field, except for Matt Wallace, who's already qualified for next year via winning the Punta Cana Championship. So we've got ZB from 118, Sam Ryder's 135. Everybody in that stretch, 17 players or so, battling for that 125 cutoff are in the field. Notables trying to work their way on the other side. Creator Classic icon Wes Bryan is currently 128th. Kevin Tway looking to gain his way onto the right side of the 125 cutoff. He's 129. Gary Woodland, Pearson Cootie is 132. So a lot of guys sort of trying to hustle their way onto the right side of the card cutoff, including Wes Bryan, who's going to play with his brother. George Bryan IV is a sponsor's exemption. The YouTube stars, as they are categorized in a lot of these articles, are playing together in the Butterfield yet again, which is cool.
Did you see that they chirped the Butterfield last year about playing together, and tournament organizers put them together? Do you think that's competitively the right choice here?
They chirp a lot. What do you mean? There could be some brotherly sort of.
Well, they asked to play together, and then next year you got. At the end of the day, this
think there's to be
backstopping
and less protecting the field.
It's an important golf tournament, and they're cowering to a couple people that are asking on social media to be paired together.
It is nominally important. It doesn't act like it's important. It doesn't go right. I mean, sponsors exemptions, DA points, and Ben Crane. Is that important?
I love that DA points is in the field.
You know what? He played this last year. I was going to dig in, do a little DA. He finished T20 last year. This is no Billy Andre type. This is a pride of Pekin. Yeah, 20th place finish here last year.
I mean, I wish Kim Swan was in this field. That's what it's missing. It's missing the electricity that Kim Swan brings.
He is absolutely not in the field. Kim Swan, a favorite of he ran the pro shop at this golf course. Essentially, might have been sort of a local hero, and I don't think they ended up in a PGA Tour event. Didn't break 90, I believe. Kim Swan. Other. Let's get into some of the sponsors exemptions operate on the edges here. Miles Russell, the 16-year-old speed demon, is in the field. I think this is a second PGA Tour event now. Christo Lamprecht, haven't heard much from him. Graham Robertson.
Such a confusing turn professional moment.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever gotten clarity on it. Why
they thought he was going to be added to live, right? Yeah.
I don't know if he did. Did he?
That was the rumor because he forewent.
He didn't play in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, he had an exemption, and turning pro washed that out. So he's in the field. An individual by the name of Graham Robertson makes his first non-major tour start after winning the, quote, Gosling's Invitational to earn, I think that's the little dark and stormy invitational down there. A mixed field. He played in the 2023 Open via qualifying, had a good amateur career. This is from the PGA Tour. Had a solid amateur career, but now intermittently works in sales. So he's playing. Connor Jones, elite amateur, ripped through. And then we got local Bermudas, Kamiko Smith and Nick Jones, along with Eric West, who's a 40-year-old who started his own company called Paradise Golf. And on that website of that golf, it says former PGA Tour player Eric West. He is not former. He is playing in the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. So we've got Eric West.
They shouldn't be former if they're in the field.
Well, that's his own website, Paradise Golf Company.
What about our guy Michael Sim? Michael Sim didn't get in this
I
year?
I don't see Mike Sim on my list. He's usually
end of an era.
A stalwart of this Butterfield Bermuda. Let me just confirm that for you. Yeah, he's not in the field. So those are some, and then Ben Crane DA points are some unrestricted. So yeah, you got a guy who works in sales, guy who started his own golf company that calls him a former pro, and then, a lot of guys battling for cards. That's your Butterfield Bermuda Championship. In the field is Mav McNealy.
Just earned their card. No guys that just earned their card. It's better to have these former pros in. They're bringing people out to watch.
Eric West is bringing. I mean, I don't know, Kamiko Smith. There's also a Monday qualifier from Russia. Russia golf having a moment after the woman had a runner-up at the Lottie. Russia, Igor Eroshenko, Monday qualified in. I think he played at Central Florida. So Russian golf having a moment here. Everything on the up and up for Putin.
I had a political quip to make, but I'm just gonna pull up on it.
Mav McNealy is in the field, as is Lanto Griffin. Mav is on a major medical. What are the outlines of this article? Did he just the Stanford grad, the brilliant Stanford grad, son of Sun Microsystems founder Scott McNealy? Did he just, they've got bureaucrats working in 105 different conference rooms down there in Ponte Vedra. Did Mav McNealy from Stanford come in and save the day on some points issue? Give me the download. I only have the high level details here.
Yeah. So Big Mav, he he thought, everybody was complaining. Notably, Lanto Griffin was complaining about the points inequities and injustices.
Yeah.
And Maverick McNealy dove into the numbers. He says he got curious by a back-to-back finish from none other than President's Cup star Corey Connors. He finished 6th at the RBC Canadian Open and then had a two-way top 20 at Memorial. He earned 100 points at the Canadian and 97.5 at the Memorial. And I was like, hold on a second. This is Maverick. This is the Adam Schupak article on Golfweek.
Okay.
That doesn't seem right. So McNealy looked into, this is the he went into Data Golf and found true strokes gained numbers. And he saw that Corey Connors played a full shot better. True strokes gained, he was plus 2.78 at RBC Canadian and plus 1.78 at Memorial. I'm guessing per round. Those are per round numbers.
Okay.
So and he earned the same number of points. So true strokes gained on Data Golf takes into account strength of field, all these different things. Mm-hmm. And what he basically found is that signature events are incredibly inequitable in terms of the FedEx Cup points they're giving out.
Yep.
Who would have guessed that? Who didn't look at the numbers and say this is ridiculous? So he found that these signature events are extremely inequitable in their points that they're giving out based off of the level of play. He found that majors are actually giving out too few points. They're the ones where when somebody plays well, they are like really playing at a high level and they don't get enough points. Who would have guessed that 70-person no-cut fields were giving out too many points?
I mean, Brentley has tweeted a lot of just the per point for like a T10. And this is sort of the unseen or sort of less of the sponsors exemptions being given to PAC members. And they finish you don't hear about it until we do the field rundown on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Then they finish like T15 or something. And the points they get are just a rocket ship compared to the guy who's like a KFT guy who's just looking for starts and finishing maybe even higher at the next week at a whatever, some other event, Canadian Open. So, okay. So McNealy's in the weeds.
Apparently
he
showed it to some people, apparently went around the tour, and now the tour, the great modelers that the PGA Tour are, the people that have brought us 7,000 iterations of the FedEx Cup, the people that told us that these numbers were great to start, that the tour never has anybody poking holes in what they're doing because these modelers just rubber stamp whatever the execs want. They've backed up McNealy. And it sounds like it is now up to the board. There's a great Lanto quote in here that included Griffin. Guys were like, "Hey, I was right." That included Griffin.
I can't believe he was available for a quote. Lanto made himself available. All right, what'd he say?
Well, I mean, Schupak and Lanto. I mean, Schupak calls Lanto drops everything.
Yeah,
I think Lanto would pick up Schupak's call mid-round. He's a lot smarter than us. He proved what we already knew, but it did it in a way with numbers that the tour had no choice but to make a change. It was awesome. You know who I'm going to pull in for Lanto? I'm going to pull in a quote from this week, a great quote from this week.
Yeah, what an idiot. I mean, just stupid.
You've added Kirby Smart to the soundboard? What an idiot.
Just feel like that quote's going to be timeless for this podcast. We could refer to ourselves as it.
It's better than the, I won't even reference it. Better than the clip from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which people are just, I think we've maxed out on that. All right, Kirby. I like getting a little Kirby. Lanto, I mean, good for Mav.
How about this magnanimous quote here at the end from McNealy? For the first time ever, guys will be teeing off on January 1 with the same opportunity, McNealy said, if the change is approved. It should be a lot better.
I guess a better, I don't know about same, but a better, more close, equitable opportunity.
So the proposal calls for a slight increase to second place points for majors and the players, and a slight decrease in points in positions 11 and beyond, and a slight decrease to signature points, event points in positions 7 and beyond.
Okay. You know, Mav is brilliant, and like I couldn't do this. But what it feels like he did was pretty rudimentary and should have been discovered. Like he just went to publicly available data golf.
Yes.
And it seems like he figured it out rather quickly. And I get Lanto, you know, he's much smarter than us and me. But it doesn't feel like he was, you know, Albert Einstein figuring this out. And it just feels like we could have someone else besides a player on a major medical trying to, like, you know, battle his way through and play golf should have done this.
It seems like one of the 700 employees at Tour HQ and one of the a million administrators, managers that they have should have maybe asked a question. Should have looked at, like, how does this relate to strokes gain numbers? How does this, you know, how do we have we have these metrics that mark skill, you know, how does this relate?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody should have asked a question. Yeah. What's eventually going to happen, what I'm surprised about, is they're talking about this, and what has to happen is that points, that there shouldn't be 500 points at Butterfield. There shouldn't be 500 points at John Deere. When are we going to get into the strokes gained? When are we going to get into the strength of field weighted FedEx Cup points? Right. I'll hold the phone. I'll wait for Mav McNealy to run some numbers and tell everyone that the strength of field at the John Deere is not the same as the strength of field at the Scottish Open. But we have to wait for Maverick McNealy to tell us that. Fall's just got to
be its own race. You know, you can't it's just got to be its own thing, but fall. Which they've started to do. They've started moving in the right direction. And Mav, thanks to Mav's help, Mav's a smart guy. We're Mav to start his own company, which maybe he has. He's a smart guy. I bet he might use something like Stripe, which builds the financial infrastructure that ambitious companies use to launch their boldest products. Their customers range from hours-old startups to complex global businesses. Collectively, they are growing the GDP of the internet. Did you know that, Andy? They are collectively growing it, and we would include ourselves. We're here at this offsite. We're here now with a lot more employees than when you started, but when you started, you didn't have a lot of employees here to help you, but you did have Stripe.
You talked about the GDP. Did you know
I love
that
GDP.
Stripe powers 1% of total global GDP?
I didn't until we started doing these ad reads.
Okay.
But now I do.
I thought you were going to say you didn't. I was going to be like, what about all the ad reads we've done? I mean, they do it through their myriad of products. They can help companies our size. They can help massive companies like Lyft, Marriott, Postmates, Salesforce, Squarespace. People are doing tons and tons of transactions. Basically, you know, if I'm going to distill this down, they make it really easy for people to pay you, and they make it really easy to create complex billing, you know, cycles that allow people to pay you in unique ways. Stripe's going to be able to figure out how to allow people to pay you in the most efficient way for your business. And you want to learn more about this, go to stripe.com.
Can I just throw one more in there? Stripe learns from trillions of transactions. They're in the numbers like Mav. Like, these people aren't just sitting around thinking about how to, you know, make pace of play slower. They're learning from trillions of transactions and put those revenue growing insights to work. Companies that use Stripe optimized checkout suite saw a revenue uplift of 11.9% on average. So they are looking at the trillions of transactions and figuring out how to get the revenue uplift around 11.9%.
You mentioned
there.
we're here at a team meeting. We saw a big revenue uplift when we had PJ in Phoenix for the Champs Tour. I mean, that was no, we didn't. But hot off the press, huge. I mean, you talk about Woj bombs in golf. Massive news on the Champions Tour. Zinger is back in the booth. We've got a potential booth of Bob Papa, and Paul Azinger for the Champs Tour next year. Is that right, PJ?
You were calling for the Champs Tour to spend the big bucks on the booth. I think they've done it. I think this is it.
Zinger, fresh out of retirement, which is where, which is appropriately landed on the Champions Tour post-retirement. That's, kind of where you wash ashore. You retire, and then you don't. You come around for free points, free buddy. Zinger coming back in the booth. This is a Golfweek report. He talked to someone at Golfweek. I'm not sure. It might have been Shoepack again, Lanto, Zinger. I'm not sure. He's coming on the Golf Channel for 10 to 12 PGA Tour Champions tournaments in 25. He has a 1-year deal. But what's interesting is this is not with NBC Golf Channel, who kind of had an acrimonious split, I would say, unexpected about this time last year. It's with PGA Tour Entertainment, which runs and builds and broadcasts the Champions Tour, which is like kind of insane to me that Golf Channel can't control who is on their channel necessarily. Like, they don't have autonomy. It's their channel. And they just got guys like, somebody could give them the double bird and essentially be hosting like a large chunk of their programming. I'm not saying Zinger did that. I'm saying hypothetically, someone could literally drag it's kind of insane. They can't control who's on their channel. Now, for us, it's a great benefit. It's a windfall that they can't control because we get Zinger back in our lives next year on the Champs Tour.
So if he's only doing 10 to 12 events, does that mean we get more Peter Jacobson is the question? Which I think we do.
There really shouldn't be more than 10 to 12 events. How
many events
28.
are there?
28.
Oh my God. It's abominable.
28 events.
What are you going to do with your off-season time, PJ? This Champs Tour off-season.
It's been a big focus of the Friday Golf offsite, trying to figure out Champions Tour off-season content. What an absolute windfall on day one of the off-season, getting Zinger news for everybody. I mean, that was just an absolute win.
We should call out, you got your Champs Tour Minute custom-made T-shirt, hand-delivered by, I think, a listener. I don't want to dox him. I think his name was Matt. Just ridiculous length sends you this Champs Tour Minute. It's like an old school kind of Master P type style shirt that we would have worn in the early 2000s. Champs Tour Minute with Dana Quigley, I believe, is on it. Ernie Els, others, or maybe it's Brett
Dick
Quigley,
Green.
one of the Quigleys.
Dick Green's in the top corner.
An incredible shirt. So yes, Zinger, total windfall.
Does Dick Green not have a hat sponsor, right?
That's a question for PJ, I hope.
I think he just is all black hat, right?
No, there is a logo on it. I tried all weekend to figure out what it was, but I couldn't make it out. But there is a blacked out logo on it.
All right.
I was gonna say maybe that's something we should explore. Can we get on Dick Green's in his logo war chest?
A sponsor. There we go.
That should have been in the big idea meeting. That should have been in the big idea meeting.
The offsite big idea session.
Can I propose a theory on why Zinger's doing this?
To jam NBC?
I think he spent a year off the tour. He's been a creature of the tour for 30 years. And he spent a year off the tour, and he was sitting at home in West Florida, and he goes, "Man, I miss my boys. I got to get back out there with my boys."
I thought he was fully invested in that course he was building, just out there on the ATV 7 days a week.
I think he missed life off the tour. He wanted to get a little tour life. He gets to go. He gets paid, and he gets to go hang out with his with all of his old running mates from the tour. He doesn't have to deal with any of the young bucks of the PGA Tour.
I'll be as candid as I can and enjoy it. It's not like a full-time gig or anything, which I don't want. To be able to go in there and part-time some golf, really some great golf, it'll be kind of fun. So it doesn't
won't
sound
have to
like
do any work. He'll just regurgitate the same stories of. Won't have to do any research.
Drive straight as train smoke, that Dick Green. That drive is straight as train smoke. We'll get that going.
Tell you what, pressure.
Zinger is back, but we have to wait for that. He is not on the schedule this week. Continuing on with our schedule, we have the LPGA Tour. We have the ANNIKA, driven. This is just a ridiculous title. I think this is a typo. The ANNIKA driven at Gainbridge at Pelican. I think it's the ANNIKA driven by Gainbridge at Pelican. Just an entire
Blueberry Boys are out.
Blueberry Boys forever. They're bouncing around their blue sport coats at Pelican Golf Club in Bel Air, Florida. It's the last regular season of event before we go to the top 60 at the CME next week. Let me get to this download. Where's the schedule here?
In case you didn't know, Caitlin Clark is playing in the Pro-Am today. Lots of Caitlin Clark content.
Lots?
More
First
than
tee.
Getting just whole shot by shot, Caitlin Clark.
We had a colleague behind the wall down there yesterday. Said she was out practicing the short game area and sculling chips like almost into the media center, like put the media center in danger. Thought they was going to break the window or whatever it is, the tent. Said she was sculling. She's not a professional golfer. I almost feel bad for the woman. She's got like thousands of people being covered soup to nuts. Golf Channel has this like 10 things about Caitlin Clark, total catnip, total just base, low content, base content of like these big questions in 20 font, like, is Clark good at golf? When does she play? How to watch Golf Channel's expanded coverage of Caitlin Clark. And it's just like, she's not a professional golfer. And they are just like, I know she's a professional athlete used to being on stage, but this is not what she does. Nevertheless, the golf media industry complex is just raining blood from a stone with this one. Just everything. Soup to nuts. She's a phenomenon. And she's out there right now playing with Nelly Corda on the front nine. They play a scramble for those pro-ams, which I think, I think that works. We don't need 4 chops. I think that might be a good pro-am needle to thread. We don't need 4 chops hacking around there all the way up to the green.
So one of the tee shots, she had fans lining both sides of her, and she just topped it right into the fans.
I mean, she's not. I feel bad almost. I have this level of empathy. The golf, they're on
like,
this.
have you seen the tee shot? It is like it like goes straight into the fans. It'd be like it was like a chopper down the left field line. That's it towards the third baseman, right
Marquise
into the fans.
Grissom just jamming it into the dirt and hustling down the first base line. All right,
that's what the shot looks like.
Do you have any other real Caitlin Clark? This will be over by the time this is posted, but it's a phenomenon.
I don't have any Caitlin Clark thoughts.
There's a golf tournament after it, and it features notables like Celine Boutier, Lauren Coughlin, Hannah Green, Lydia Ko, Nelly Corda, Lexi Thompson, Lilia Vu, Ronnie Yin, and Rose Zane. A astoundingly stout field. TV coverage window is 10-1 on Thursday and Friday. A scant 3 hours in the middle of the day, but you got to get out of the way for the Butterfield, I suppose. And then Saturday and Sunday, 2:30 to 5 and 2 to 4:30 on Sunday, which is pushing daylight in Florida. No, I mean, if you have those pace of play
like
issues,
down south it stays lighter later.
It's the west coast of Florida. So yeah, you get a little extra time, but pace of play, a delay here and there, 4:30 can get dicey, but. That's your Sunday finish. A lot of great players in the field. A lot of boys in blueberry blue jackets bouncing around. This is a fancy little place they got, which we've talked about often, the Pelican Golf Club. We've done 6 years on that place. On the DP World Tour, we have the season-ending DP World Tour Championships at Jumeirah Golf Estates, the Earth course, not wind, not fire, not stone, sand. It's the Earth course at Jumeirah Golf Estates. This is their last event of the year, crowning of the Tour's race to Dubai. Let's see.
So Rory McIlroy
the
crowning.
2023 champion was Nikolai Højgaard. The purse is $10 million. Notables are Fleetwood, Hatton still plugging away. Billy Boy skipped last week, but he is on the flight to Dubai. He will play Minwoo Lee, Shane Lowry, Billy Boy. I'll tell you what, not a good time to be a Gators fan. They're just getting blasted on football. Their basketball coach might have some issues going on. Not a good time to be a Gators revenue sports.
I thought that basketball coach was an up-and-comer, too.
Todd Golden played in San Francisco, had like a hot program there at USF, the Dons, home of Bill Russell. But yeah, not maybe hint some hot water. Billy Boy doesn't want to stick around for any of that. He's off to Dubai, along with Minwoo, Shane Lowry, Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose, Adam Scott, the PGA Tour PAC member, playing the DP World Tour finale. So that's a solid field. That's coffee golf for those of us on the East Coast. That's 2 to 8 a.m. on Thursday, Friday, and then a 7:30 a.m. Sunday finish. Rory is going to win his 6th Varden Trophy for the season-long deal.
Did you see why somebody asked Rory why he liked the golf course so much? Did you see his answer?
What did he say? What?
He said because all the bunkers are 310 yards and I could just hit it over them.
I was going to say, does it pinch in at like 300 everywhere? Okay. Did he really just come out and say that?
Yeah.
Love it.
And it just makes me think of the temple hole at the TGL, the famed temple template.
The pizza pie. Yeah.
The idea of Rory McIlroy's eyes lighting up when he saw this hole. Oh, he's one of like 3 players in the world that can just hit it over everything.
So these are the only ways Rory does not win. The Thirsty Boy is the only one who can catch him. Thirsty, don't call me Tristan, or Tristan, don't call me Tristan Lawrence of South Africa. He needs to win, and McIlroy needs to finish 12th or worse for him to get there. So those are the stakes in Dubai. We have the top 10 races also for the PGA Tour. You know, Paul Waring. I got a lot of Paul Waring character witnesses coming in. Like people who are on the European Tour said like guy is the best. Had a bunch of injuries, was like he's an amazing player, had a bunch of injuries, but also like a top bloke. Apparently like a really good dude. So he's going to the PGA Tour. That top 10 card race still ongoing in Dubai. Elsewhere in golf, this will be over. We have the Southwest Airlines, the flying bus, as I call it, Southwest Airlines Showcase at Cedar Crest. That will finish at the
Southwest
college.
Airlines is sponsoring something.
I mean, I assume it's a Dallas area, Cedar Crest. Yeah, Dallas. That's a college event. That'll be over Wednesday as you listen to this. That's the Flying Bus Championship on the college. That'll be over at 5:30 on Golf Channel. Elsewhere, not on TV, sadly, for schedule for the week, the Dunlop Phoenix, one of our favorite events in Japan, may have fallen on hard times. No TV coverage for some reason. They've kind of, this used to be the province of Tiger. Brooks Koepka would play there. Wesley was, of course, a favorite there. They've got the Japanese players, Ishikawa. Shingo Katayama, I hope, is in his cowboy hat. He's playing the Dunlop Phoenix. Hideki's playing. But here are the PGA Tour imports. Akshay, okay. Your boy, Pendy. At the Dunlop Phoenix. Is he putting the butts in the seats?
What he's doing, he's cashing in. He's cashing in on his Peak Cup play. He's just
Pendy,
he knows that the 17th hole at Royal Montreal is not walking through that door in Japan. He's not worried about that.
Can't fan one into the bunker or the water there. You got Pendy and Max McGreevy. Those are your like Max McGreevy, Pendrith, and Akshay are 3 guys. This used to be in no TV coverage. What happened to my beloved? What happened to the Dunlop that I love? Did you see Zverev, your guy on Dunlop balls? Zverev?
What did he say?
Talking about equipment.
He's not my guy.
I thought you like Zverev. Or you like Sinner? Sinner's your guy.
I like the cheater. I like the guy taking steroids.
Yeah. Allegedly,
Zverev was allegedly had some domestic issues.
Okay, that's right.
Made me really steer away from Zverev. I think they were like, I think he beat the charges. No pun intended.
Oh yeah. This is on Dunlop because the ball is a big subject. Relates to golf because I'm on the Players Council. The ball is a very interesting subject to me. Since COVID, all the companies, and it's not only one company. So Dunlop was always the best tennis ball. So Dunlop Phoenix, they've gotten a lot worse. I always loved the Penn balls. They've gotten a lot slower. The reason being because of COVID, the companies try to cut costs and they're using a different rubber material now. They're using a different material for the tennis balls, which makes the tennis balls between 30% and 60% slower on average compared to what it was before COVID. I generally think
I'd like
general,
to stat check those numbers. 60%.
He's on the Players Council. He's
60% slower. 60% slower. 30 to 60%. That it would make it look like it's going in slow motion. Nobody's watching tennis and like this is
rubber.
If you took Rory McIlroy's swing and slowed it down 60%.
What's the USGA recommending? 10 to 15% at certain speeds at 180 plus, right? 15% reduction?
Less than 10%.
Okay. It's not only one company, but in general, the balls got a lot worse and a lot slower. They're not as consistent. And so he says this is a health issue. Before even a Dunlop ball, why I used to love it, why Dunlop ball was so great when they were new, they were very fast through the court. Then they got bigger. When they got bigger, they were still flying through the air because the air inside and pressure inside didn't leave. The ball just fluffed up. What happens now with the tennis balls is that the air and the pressure leaves the tennis ball because of the material, these cost-cutting things, he says. The material doesn't keep it inside. It's not only that the ball fluffs up, but actually the air and pressure of the tennis ball drops drastically. That's why a lot of players now, so he's connecting these dots. That's why a lot of players now have elbow issues. Yeah. A lot of the players have wrist issues. That was not the case about 10 or 15 years ago. He says, I don't know if I explained it well or understood. It's very interesting. I'm number 2 in the world. I don't have a reason to complain. I have great results. But long-term, long-run, the player's health is a big issue. So he says its air is going out of the ball, and it's much slower. They fluff up. The air is going out of the ball. So Dunlop Phoenix.
Player health is one of the pushbacks to golf having a shot clock because guys might get hurt if they have to hit a ball under 45 seconds.
They need their PT time.
Real pushback. Golfer gets hurt because he's forced to hit ball under 45 seconds.
He just added, they're like the balls are like a shuttlecock now. They fly very fast through the air the first 2 or 3 meters, and then they just slow down. Interesting equipment debates on the other side of the country club sports over at the tennis court going on. You have an event of the week, by the way?
I'll give it to the DP World Tour, the preeminent feeder tour that refuses to be called a feeder tour.
Over on the Earth course there in Dubai. Okay. News.
The PGA Tour actually is the preeminent feeder tour, right, PJ?
How else does a guy like Billy Andrade go from playing on the PGA Tour to making a run at the Schwab Cup next year?
PJ's call. I don't know if we said this at the top. PJ's is calling in from the top bunk of a bunk bed here.
We did not.
Are you really?
We did not divulge the bunk boy. Yeah, I'm on the top bunk. Where else would I be?
You're sitting on the top bunk currently?
Yeah. There's the ceiling.
You are touching the ceiling.
For those that aren't watching on YouTube, PJ just touched the ceiling.
All right. Go watch on YouTube. We're doing some meetings. I hear YouTube's a hot new platform here at the offsite meetings.
PJ might be the head of YouTube strategy.
Yeah. Google, get at our boy PJ. Tell him how to cook the books. Get these views up. No, I'm kidding. We're debating some things. All right. The DP World Tour news, DP World Tour schedule comes out or is out. I honestly got to say, there's nothing inspiring on it of any note. The Irish Open's back to the K Club. I read the entire list. There's just, there's the majors. There's the Dunhill. It's just, it's sort of an underwhelming. They've got their segments. They have a little bit of cadence now. But yeah, they released their schedule, and yeah, I just didn't see anything to like really that jumped off the page to me. Adrian Meronk's reaction to this was, it wouldn't be the worst thing if the PGA Tour went its own way and everyone else got together and created a worldwide tour everywhere except the United States. I like that idea. It would be awesome. This was from Meronk talking to John Huggin of golfdigest.com. This got ratioed. Max Homa, it's like, oh, would be a cool idea. Sick idea if somebody tried that. No one's ever thought of that. Like a US-based tour and then everywhere else tour. Kind of what we have with the DP World Tour, or did. So that schedule's out. The Meronk man had a long interview with Huggin that was moderately interesting at times, talking about his decision to leave. Said he's enjoyed being a part of a team, traveling together. Said it's been as fun. It reminds him of his time at East Tennessee State, Meronk. It has been nice to have that support system around me. Being from Poland, I found the PGA Tour to be a lonely place at times. So Poland,
there's strong.
It was harder to go from.
There's strong cliques culture. Him and Keimer were practice round buddies at the U.S. Open.
It was harder to go from Poland to the tour than Poland to East Tennessee State as an 18-year-old. He likes having the sports system around him, the Meronk man, and wants a new world tour. In addition to the DP World Tour releasing its schedule, Live Golf has released the framework, the concept of a schedule, or a real schedule, I should say. They're not fully fleshed out yet, but some new venues. So we're on our way to having almost a complete schedule. We've got Riyadh, Adelaide, Hong Kong, Singapore, new events, Korea. So they're going to the Jack Nicklaus Golf Course in Korea. Those who brought you Hatchet on the TGL bring you Jack Nicklaus Golf Course in Incheon, Korea. So that's a new one. They're taking over that. That had a DP World Tour.
I wonder
like
if there's
2
a
weeks
hatchet
ago.
hole out there.
That is a former Prez Cup host, had a DP World Tour event just a week ago or so. They are now on Live Korea, which is new. Going back to Dallas for Merido, only this looks like a regular event, no longer the team championship. Valderrama, JCB. They are going back to Bolingbrook. August, Chicago Bolingbrook Golf Club, again, August 8th to 10th. And then a week later.
Well, I mean, they were talking about like major championships at Bolingbrook the week of Bolingbrook.
I mean, like they threw that together in the middle of the summer because they needed a place, and now they're going back.
Well,
this is like
it showed out. It was Chicago was in like a drought, so it was super firm.
August 8th to 10th at Bolingbrook, and then they're bouncing down across the border to the club at Chatham Hills, August 15th to 17th in the Indianapolis area. So they're going to India. There was rampant rumors of them going to Chatham Hills, and this is now official. Indianapolis, new market, doesn't have a PGA Tour event, and so yeah, Chatham Hills. I think it's north of the city. Told the membership is full membership there, and they are giving away. They're yielding the course. Was told maybe the monetary incentive was not a lot, but they're hosting a live event next August.
Just want the notoriety. They're bringing pro golf to Indianapolis. You know what? Good Samaritans for the folks of Indianapolis.
For their central Indiana brethren, opening the world up to bring Bryson to town.
It's a hopping place. You're going to have all the Hoosiers fans basking in their national championship. Still have that national championship buzz.
They have like an 80% chance of making the playoff, like 90, so they could get blowed out at Ohio State.
They have one loss.
I mean, but okay. I don't want to upset my Hoosier. I have nothing
You're
personally
about
against
Kyle Robbins coming after
Indiana. I would love the story of Indiana football making it
so hard.
Well, they haven't played anybody, and then they could lose by 40 to Ohio State, and they're just in the playoff.
This Big Ten football.
I would love it. I want Indiana to be in the playoff. I don't know. I want the Cinderella in the playoff. It's
better than putting any ACC school in.
Oh, get the hell out of here! You're just ridiculous.
I think it should just be Big Ten versus SEC. None of the other conferences deserve any spots.
Big Ten ruined it. They've ravaged.
Illinois could still be in the mix.
They've ravaged your area of the country. Just totally turned it over. The Pac-12, Pac-10, just ruined it. Last but not least, in news. Per Josh Carpenter, TGL's newest sponsor is Best Buy, which is coming on as a board as a founding partner of TGL. Best Buy. When's the last time you were in a Best Buy? We were both children of like the 90s. Early, I mean, that was just like heaven, going to Chuck E. Cheese or something, walking in with all the TVs. But it's now 2024, and they are a founding partner of TGL. When's the last time you went to a Best Buy, Andy?
I maybe within the last year, I had a printer.
You gotta get microphones or something.
A printer wasn't working.
Printer.
I went in there, got a new printer.
I took my kid in there after he like went to the orthodontist, had a bunch of work done. He was down on his luck. Got him a milkshake. We were driving by Best Buy. I was like, let's go to Best Buy. I mean, it's dystopian in there. A lot of empty floor space. A lot of clearance. I don't know who's going in there. There's some gamers.
Killing Best Buy. They could be a next sponsor of this pod.
I just didn't expect their founding partner of TGL.
Older demographic of people still appreciate the in-store shopping experience, Brendan. That's why they're sponsoring
That's
TGL.
Fine. Just televisions. It was a dark scene in there. It was not necessarily uplifting.
One of my favorite things is driving past shuttered Best Buys, and they still got the blue,
the tag. Yeah. We did hear on Ludwig. We have confirmation. Ludwig has not visited San Francisco or Oakland. And the Bay GC is looking to work to make him and this an opportunity. So he will visit. So they're trying to get him out to the Bay, so he could probably represent his reporting. People. Love that.
Star of team has never visited the city. I mean, like that's a marketing problem for the Bay Golf Club. Could cause team division. They're probably, the early team meetings have been bonding over their favorite San Franciscan haunts. And Ludwig's just been nodding along. Oh yeah, I love that place. And now they might have found out that he's never actually been.
I want to know if he's been to a Best Buy too, Ludwig. Has he been to the Bay and has
Definitely
he been to a Best Buy?
Maybe Lubbock. Lubbock might have had a Best Buy. That might have been like one of the best things to do in Lubbock while you're there as a 19-year-old.
Yep. So January 7th fastly approaches for the TGL. So that's coming up. All right, that does it for this Wednesday episode. Thank you all for your continued support.
You have any thoughts on the Bears getting rid of Waldron?
They fired their offensive coordinator. Are you jamming football talk here at the end? So the people aren't upset. We got Echavarria at the top, and we get football at the end.
Got to be a man of the people. We got to listen to the vocal minority. Did you see?
They fired their offensive coordinator.
Who's replaced him?
No.
What offense he was a part of last year?
Who?
His name's Thomas Jones. Not related to the former Bears
running back from UVA. Okay,
Jets running back.
All right.
He was for a period of time. He was the play caller for the Carolina Panthers last year.
Oh my God.
Who got us the first pick because of how bad they were. He had a period of time. So Frank Reich got relieved of play calling duties in the middle of the season. He took over, and then Frank Reich took back over play calling duties at the end of the season.
Have
you been following this at all? Like what's going on? Apparently there's veteran players that urged them to fire Waldron. That's what got it pushed over the finish line.
Oh my God. I haven't been following this. Andy, I'm just like totally impartial. Like I am like, I want them to do well for your happiness. This is a fucking disaster. Are you kidding? I would be so mad. I know Bears fans are not necessarily happy at the minute.
There are veteran players calling for Badgett to start Badgett ball. They want Badgett ball over Caleb.
You were just scuttling this. This is a disaster. This could be a
complete disaster.
Oh my God. So he's going to have Waldron for whatever it's been 9 games. They're going to this guy who's the worst offense in the league last year. Then
they're going to fire. They're going to
with the new head coach. Yes,
new offensive coordinator. He's going to have 3 offensive coordinators in his first 18 games. There's a great article in The Athletic with Kevin Fishbane and Adam Johns going back and forth talking about this. And it was like, what's the best case scenario? Is the best case scenario that this guy, Thomas Jones, like turns around the offense and then they fire the head coach, but they keep him as the offensive coordinator? So you hire a coach who doesn't get to bring in his offensive staff? Like, it's a disaster. Scripted this
worse. You could not have. This is by the playbook. This is a hypothetical worst case scenario that you wouldn't even dream. They're doing it. They're ruining. They're doing it.
There's another report from Mike Sando out that says that Kevin Warren does not want a strong head coach that would divert attention.
I heard this part
from him.
Kevin Warren.
Well, this is like that Harbaugh allegedly wanted to come to the Bears.
Yeah.
And this is when they retained Eberflus.
Oh my God.
Well, Kevin Warren was never hiring Harbaugh. They hate each other. They can't even stand on the same podium.
Yeah, Big Ten past disputes. Right.
So anyways, we've got this team president that has a whole article on chicagobears.com about how hard he works.
Look at me. Put my name up in lights on our team website. Look at me. Content. And he's saying, I don't want a celebrity, or not a celebrity, but a big name coach. Because, so we're talking who? Belichick, Pete Carroll, John Harbaugh, Mike Vrabel. Like yeah.
What we're destined for is Matt
Waldron
Eberflus level hires. Yeah. This is bad.
I'm sorry. I feel bad. This is cataclysmic in my opinion. This is bad. And you were very optimistic. I don't want to run the tape back from August, maybe even September, early October. We've come a long way here on November 13th.
You know what we've learned? There's a reason that the Bears don't have nice things. Can I say something about the franchise?
Yeah.
Yeah, what an idiot. Just stupid.
All right, everybody. I have one more thing, but we're going out on that. Everybody enjoy your Wednesdays. Talk to you on Friday.